The Kiros system had no name in the old tongue. It had a warning. The warning was carved in stone on 100 worlds. It was written in 100 languages. It said the same thing everywhere. Do not enter. Do not approach. Do not look too long. The Kiros system eats ships. It eats dreams. It eats hope. Stay away. The system sat in a dark corner of the galaxy. Its star was not yellow like Earth's sun. It was red and angry and sick. The star spit out waves of radiation that could kill a living thing through solid metal. The space around the star twisted in strange ways. Gravity pulled in directions that made no sense. Ships that entered never came back. Sensors that looked too long broke. The Kiros system was not a place. It was a graveyard. The Galactic Council had been meeting for 10,000 years. They had seen many things. Empires rose. Empires fell. Species were born. Species died. But the Kiros system stayed the same. Deadly. Silent. Untouchable. Every few hundred years, some young species would ask about it. What is in there? They would ask. Has anyone tried to go in? The old species would shake their heads. Do not ask, they would say. Do not try. The system is a tomb. Leave it alone. The young species would listen. They would nod. They would forget. And the Kiros system would sit in the dark, waiting for nothing. The warning was carved in stone on 100 worlds. On the world of the Vaughn, the warning was cut into a mountain. On the world of the Marin, it was written in metal and hung in every spaceport. On the world of the Keth, it was painted on the walls of the nursery, so children would grow up knowing fear. No one entered. No one left. No one survived. That was the truth. That was the law. That was the end of it. Then the humans came. The humans were new. They had only been traveling between stars for a few hundred years. They had no great empire. They had no ancient wisdom. They had no fear of warnings carved in stone. They had something else. Curiosity. Stupid, dangerous, beautiful curiosity. A human diplomat named Sarah attended her first Galactic Council meeting. She was young. She was bright. She asked too many questions. The old ambassadors smiled at her like she was a child. They answered her questions slowly, using small words. Then she asked about the Kiros system. What is in there? She asked. The council went quiet. The ambassador from the Vaughn, an old being named Torek, leaned forward. You do not ask about the Kiros system, he said. It is forbidden. It has always been forbidden. It will always be forbidden. But why? Sarah asked. Has anyone actually gone in and looked? Torek blinked. Of course not. It is forbidden. But if no one has gone in, how do you know it is dangerous? The council stared at her. No one had ever asked that question before. For 10,000 years, everyone had accepted the warning. Everyone had been afraid. No one had asked for proof. Torek's voice was cold. Ships have entered. Long ago. They never returned. Sensors have tried to look. They broke. The radiation is deadly. The gravity is unstable. The star is sick. We do not need to go inside to know it is dangerous. We can see the danger from here. Sarah nodded. She wrote something in her notebook. She did not ask more questions. The council relaxed. The human was satisfied. She was not satisfied. Sarah went back to Earth. She gathered scientists. She gathered engineers. She gathered pilots who had flown through asteroid fields and laughed about it later. She showed them the data on the Kiros system. The radiation. The gravity. The sick red star. This is impossible, said Dr. Aries, a physicist. No ship can survive that radiation. No shield can block it. No engine can fight that gravity. Sarah smiled. That is what they said about flying. About space travel. About landing on the moon. Impossible is just a word humans haven't proven wrong yet. Dr. Aries looked at the data again. You want to send a ship into the Kiros system? Yes. That is suicide. Maybe. But what if it is not? What if everyone has been wrong for 10,000 years? What if the Kiros system is just a place? A dangerous place. But a place. We have survived dangerous places before. It is what we do. The room was quiet. Then Dr. Aries laughed. You are crazy. Probably, Sarah said. But crazy is also a word humans have proven wrong many times. They built a ship. It was not a warship. It was not a colony ship. It was an exploration ship. It had thick shields. It had backup systems for the backup systems. It had a crew of 12 volunteers who signed up knowing they might die. They signed up anyway. The Galactic Council heard about the human plan. They sent messages. Angry messages. Scared messages. Do not do this, they said. You will die. You will wake something. You will break the law. Sarah read the messages. She smiled. She wrote back, we are not breaking the law. We are testing it. There is a difference. The ship left Earth on a Tuesday. It was a small ship. A brave ship. A stupid ship. The galaxy watched on long-range sensors. They expected the ship to die at the edge of the system. They expected a quick end. A bright flash. Then silence. The ship entered the Kiros system. It did not die. The radiation was bad. The crew added more shields. The gravity was weird. The pilot adjusted the path. The star was unpredictable. The scientists predicted it anyway. 1 day passed. Then 2. Then a week. The ship did not die. It just kept going. The galaxy watched in silence. 10,000 years of fear. 10,000 years of warnings carved in stone. And one small human ship had just sailed past all of it like it was nothing. Sarah sent a message back to Earth. It was short. It was simple. It changed everything. We are inside. It is dangerous. But we are still here. Sending more data soon. Also, the space whales are beautiful. The Council did not know what to say. Space whales. In the Kiros system, nothing made sense anymore. The Untouchable system had been touched. And the thing that touched it was not a great empire or an ancient species. It was a bunch of curious humans who did not know how to be afraid of old warnings carved in stone. The Kiros system was not a tomb. It was just a place. A dangerous place. But humans had survived dangerous places before. And they were just getting started. The humans did not fit in. That was the first thing the Galactic Council noticed about them. Every other species had a place. The Vaughn were warriors. The Marin were traders. The Keth were survivors. The Valtor were teachers. Everyone had a role. Everyone knew the rules. Everyone stayed in their lane. Then came the humans. They were new. They had only been traveling the stars for a blink of the galaxy's eye. They had no ancient wisdom. No great fleets. No powerful alliances. What they had was questions. Too many questions. Questions that made the old species uncomfortable. At the council meeting, the humans sent a representative named Sarah. She was small. She was young. She smiled too much. The other ambassadors looked at her like she was a child who had wandered into a room of adults. Welcome, human, said Torek of the Vaughn. Please sit. Listen. Learn. Do not speak until you understand our ways. Sarah Saturday. She listened. She learned. She also took notes. Lots of notes. Her notebook grew thick. The council discussed trade routes. Border disputes. Old alliances. New threats. It was boring. It was important. It was the same conversation they had been having for 1,000 years. Then someone mentioned the Kiros system. The Forbidden Zone remains secure, said an ambassador from a species Sarah did not recognize. No ships have entered. No signals have escaped. The warning stands. Sarah's hand shot up. Excuse me. Why is it forbidden? The council went quiet. Torek turned to look at her. His eyes were cold. The Kiros system is dangerous. It has been forbidden for 10,000 years. That is why. But who decided it was forbidden? Sarah asked. Was there a vote? A study? Has anyone actually gone in and looked around? Torek's face hardened. Ships entered long ago. They did not return. Sensors tried to look. They broke. The radiation is deadly. The gravity is unstable. We do not need to go inside to know it is dangerous. The danger is obvious. Sarah nodded. She wrote something in her notebook. Then she asked another question. Has anyone tried recently? With better ships? Better shields? Better sensors? The council shifted in their seats. No one answered. Torek spoke slowly, as if explaining something to a slow child. No one tries. Because it is forbidden. Because it is dangerous. Because the warning has kept us safe for 10,000 years. Do you understand? Sarah understood. She also did not agree. But she was polite. She smiled. She sat back. She stopped asking questions. The council relaxed. The human was quiet. Good. But Sarah was not done. She was just waiting. After the meeting, she walked to the council library. She pulled every record on the Kiros system. There were many. Most of them were old. Most of them said the same thing. Danger. Death. Do not enter. But none of them had any data. No sensor readings. No ship logs. No survivor stories. Just warnings. Warnings that were 10,000 years old. Warnings that no one had tested. Sarah went back to Earth. She called a meeting of the Human Space Agency. She put the old warnings on a screen. They say we cannot go here, she said. Why not? Asked a young pilot named Chen. They do not know. They have not tried. They just believe. Chen laughed. So we should try. Yes. Won't that make them angry? Probably. Won't we die? Maybe. But maybe not. There's only one way to find out. The room was quiet. Then Chen stood up. I will fly the ship. Another pilot stood. I will go with you. An engineer stood. I will build the shields. A scientist stood. I will study the radiation. Within 1 week, 12 humans had volunteered. They built a ship. It was not pretty. It was not perfect. It was just good enough. Good enough to try. Good enough to see. Good enough to answer the question that had been sitting in the dark for 10,000 years. The Galactic Council heard about the human plan. They sent messages. Angry messages. Scared messages. Do not do this, Torek wrote. You will die. You will wake something. You will break the law. Sarah wrote back. We are not breaking the law. We are testing it. If the system is truly deadly, we will die. That will prove you right. If we survive, that will prove you wrong. Either way, we will have an answer. Is that not better than 10,000 years of guessing? Torek did not answer. He could not. Because Sarah was right. The council had been guessing. They had been afraid. They had turned fear into law. And now a species of curious, annoying, fearless humans was about to test that law. The ship left Earth on a Tuesday. The council watched on long-range sensors. They expected the ship to explode at the edge of the system. They expected a quick death. A lesson for the foolish humans. The ship entered the Kiros system. It did not explode. The radiation hit. The shields held. The gravity pulled. The engines pushed. The star flared. The scientists predicted. The ship kept going. 1 hour passed. Then a day. Then a week. The ship sent back data. Lots of data. The radiation was bad but manageable. The gravity was weird but navigable. The star was angry but predictable. The system was dangerous. Yes, very dangerous. But not deadly. Not if you were careful. Not if you were prepared. Not if you were human. Sarah received the first transmission. She read it 3 times. Then she laughed. Then she cried. Then she sent a message to the council. The Kiros system is not a tomb. It is a place. A dangerous place. But a place. We are inside. We are alive. We are sending data. Your warnings were not wrong. They were just old. Fear ages badly. Curiosity does not. The council did not know what to say. For 10,000 years, they had believed. For 10,000 years, they had obeyed. For 10,000 years, they had been wrong. And a small, curious, annoying species of humans had just proved it. Not with weapons. Not with power. With a simple question. What if we just go look? The galaxy would never be the same. Because the humans had taught everyone a new lesson. Warnings are not walls. Fear is not fact. And sometimes, the only way to know if something is impossible is to try it anyway. That was the human question. That was the human way. And it was terrifying. And beautiful. And absolutely unstoppable. The human ship was called the Odyssey. It was a small ship. It was a brave ship. It was a stupid ship. And it was inside the Kiros system, where no ship had gone in 10,000 years and lived. The galaxy watched. Every species had their long-range sensors pointed at the red, angry star. Every council member sat in silence. Every ambassador held their breath. They expected the ship to die. They expected a bright flash. Then nothing. That was the pattern. That was the history. That was the law. The Odyssey did not die. On the first day, the radiation hit. It was bad. Worse than the old records said. The human sensors screamed. The human alarms blared. The human crew did not panic. They added more shields. They had brought extra. Because humans always bring extra. It is a habit born from a lifetime of things breaking at the worst moment. Radiation levels are dropping, said Dr. Aries, the physicist. The extra shields are working. We are safe. For now. Pilot Chen nodded. Where to? Forward, said Sarah. She was on the ship. She had insisted. We did not come this far to stop at the door. The ship moved forward. The star grew larger. The radiation grew stronger. The shields held. On the second day, the gravity got weird. The ship pulled in directions it should not pull. The engines strained. The crew felt heavy, then light, then heavy again. It was like flying through a storm made of invisible hands. Adjusting path, Chen said. His hands moved fast over the controls. He had flown through asteroid fields. He had landed on comets. He had once crashed on a moon and walked away laughing. Weird gravity did not scare him. It just made him focus. The ship found a path. A narrow path. A path that twisted and turned like a river through mountains. But it was a path. The humans followed it. On the third day, the star flared. A burst of energy shot out from the red sun. It was huge. It was hot. It should have fried the ship like an egg on a hot pan. The humans saw it coming. They had been watching. They had been measuring. They had been predicting. The star was angry, but anger follows patterns. Even angry stars are not random. The humans found the pattern. They moved the ship behind a large moon. The flare passed. The ship was safe. See? Chen said. Predictable. Dr. Aries laughed. You called that predictable? It missed us by 3,000 kilometers. Close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, Chen said. We are alive. That is what matters. The galaxy watched all of this. The Vaughn could not believe it. The Marin rubbed their eyes. The Keth sent messages asking if the sensors were broken. The Valtor ran simulations and got errors. Nothing made sense. The Kiros system was supposed to be a tomb. But the humans were treating it like a classroom. 1 week passed. The ship was still alive. The crew sent back data. Lots of data. The radiation levels. The gravity patterns. The star's temper. Every piece of information was a small victory. Every day survived was a miracle. The Galactic Council held an emergency meeting. Torek of the Vaughn stood at the front. His face was red. His voice was loud. This is impossible, he said. The Kiros system kills. It has always killed. The humans must be cheating. They must have found a way around the danger. Or they are lying. Or they are already dead and we are seeing ghosts. The other ambassadors nodded. It was easier to believe in cheating than to believe they had been wrong for 10,000 years. Then a message arrived from the Odyssey. Sawa's face appeared on the screen. She looked tired. She looked happy. She looked very much alive. Hello, Council, she said. Day 8. Still here. The radiation is bad, but we are managing. The gravity is weird, but we are learning to read it. The star flared again this morning. We hid behind a moon. It worked. Also, we found something interesting. There are ruins on the third planet. Ancient ruins. Someone lived here once. Long ago. We are going to take a closer look. We'll send pictures. Do not worry. We are being careful. The screen went dark. The council sat in silence. Ruins. Someone lived in the Kiros system. That was impossible. The system was a tomb. It had always been a tomb. Tombs do not have ruins. Tombs do not have former residents. Tombs are empty. Torek sat down. His legs felt weak. What are they? He whispered. What are these humans? No one answered. Because no one knew. The humans were not the strongest species. Not the oldest. Not the wisest. But they were something the galaxy had never seen before. They were curious. They were stubborn. They were annoying. And they did not know how to be afraid of old warnings. The Odyssey kept going. Week 2. Week 3. The ship did not die. It just kept moving. The humans took notes. They drew maps. They collected samples. They treated the Kiros system like a puzzle, not a tomb. And slowly, piece by piece, the puzzle began to make sense. The galaxy watched in confusion. The council watched in fear. The humans watched in wonder. Because the Kiros system was not a death trap. It was a challenge. And challenges, the humans knew, were made to be solved. That was what they did. That was who they were. And the galaxy was only beginning to understand what that meant. 3 months. 90 days. That was how long the humans spent inside the Kiros system. 90 days of radiation. 90 days of weird gravity. 90 days of an angry red star trying to kill them. And they did not die. They just worked. The Odyssey mapped every planet. Every moon. Every asteroid. They flew through the radiation belts. They landed on the surface of the third planet. They walked among the ancient ruins. They took pictures. They collected rocks. They measured everything. The ruins were old. Very old. Older than any species in the Galactic Council. Someone had lived in the Kiros system a long time ago. Someone had built cities and temples and strange machines that no longer worked. The humans did not know who. They did not know why. But they knew the builders were gone. Dead. Moved on. It did not matter. What mattered was the system was not a tomb. It was a home. An old, empty, broken home. But a home. The humans also found minerals. Strange minerals that glowed in the dark. Minerals that hummed when you touched them. Minerals that the galaxy had never seen before. They filled bags with them. They put them in boxes. They labeled everything. And they found the whales. The space whales of Kiros were huge. Larger than the human ship. They floated through the radiation like it was nothing. Their skin was thick and gray and covered in scars. They sang. Not with sound. With frequencies. Frequencies that made the human senses dance. Frequencies that had never been recorded before. The whales were beautiful. They were strange. They were completely unafraid of the humans. For 1 week, the humans were fascinated. They followed the whales. They recorded the songs. They tried to understand the patterns. It was wonderful. It was amazing. It was everything they had hoped to find. Then they got bored. Sarah sat on the bridge of the Odyssey. She looked at the screens. The maps were complete. The ruins were explored. The minerals were bagged. The whales were recorded. There was nothing left to do. The Kiros system had given all its secrets. And the secrets were fine. Interesting. But fine. She turned to Chen. I am bored. Chen laughed. Me too. We have been here 3 months. We have seen everything. There is nothing else. Nothing. No space monsters. No ancient weapons. No hidden treasure. Just rocks and old buildings and singing whales. Chen nodded. The whales are nice. But they sing the same song over and over. I have heard it 1,000 times. I am ready to hear something else. Sarah picked up the communication pad. She recorded a message for Earth and for the Galactic Council. She kept it short. Hello. This is Sarah on the Odyssey. We have completed our survey of the Kiros system. The good news, it is not a tomb. It is a place. A strange place. But a place. The bad news, there is nothing here. A few pretty rocks. Some old buildings. The whales are nice. Very nice. Friendly even. But honestly, it is kind of empty. We are coming home. Do not send more ships. There is nothing worth seeing. Unless you like rocks. Or whales. Or very old dust. End of message. She sent the message. Then she told Chen to turn the ship around. The Odyssey left the Kiros system the same way it had entered. Carefully. Slowly. Alive. The Galactic Council received Sarah's message. They played it 3 times. They could not believe what they were hearing. Nothing. Torek of the Vaughn said. There is nothing there. 10,000 years of fear. 10,000 years of warnings. 10,000 years of staying away. And it is empty. The other ambassadors murmured. Some were angry. Some were confused. Some were relieved. But most were embarrassed. They had been afraid of nothing. They had built their laws on fear. And a bunch of curious humans had just proven that fear was hollow. The Keth ambassador, an old being named Rel, spoke quietly. The humans went into the most dangerous place in the galaxy. They survived. They mapped it. They explored it. And then they got bored. Do you understand what that means? The council looked at him. It means the Kiros system was never the most dangerous thing in the galaxy, Rel said. The humans are. Not because they are violent. Because they are not afraid. Fear kept us safe for 10,000 years. But it also kept us small. The humans do not have that problem. They go where they want. They do what they want. And when they are done, they get bored and move on. That is terrifying. Not because they are mean. Because they are unstoppable. The council was silent. No one had anything to add. The Odyssey returned to Earth. The crew stepped out. They stretched. They yawned. They drank coffee. They told stories about the whales. They showed pictures of the ruins. They put the glowing minerals in a museum. Then they went home to their families. The Kiros system was no longer forbidden. The Galactic Council removed the warning. They carved a new message on the stone walls. It said, enter at your own risk. Not because it is dangerous. Because it is boring. The humans gave it 2 stars. Would not recommend. Some species were angry at the humans for breaking the old law. Some were grateful. Some were confused. But all of them learned the same lesson. Fear is a cage. Curiosity is a key. And humans had a habit of opening doors that everyone else had locked. Not because they were brave, because they were curious, and because they got bored easily. And boredom, the galaxy was learning, was the most dangerous thing of all. Because a bored human will always find something new to do. And something new to do usually means breaking an old rule. And old rules, the humans had proved, were just suggestions waiting to be tested. The Odyssey left the Kiros system on a Thursday. The crew was tired. The crew was happy. The crew was ready to never see another red star again. They had spent 3 months in the most dangerous place in the galaxy. They had survived. They had explored. They had gotten bored. Now they wanted pizza. But before they left, Sarah had one last thing to do. She took a small metal plate from the ship's supply. She used a laser engraver to write on it. The words were simple. They were honest. They were very, very human. Enter at your own risk. Not because it is dangerous. Because it is boring. We rated it 2 stars. Would not recommend. The humans. She attached the plate to a large asteroid at the edge of the system. It faced outward. Anyone coming close would see it. The warning was clear. The warning was also ridiculous. That was the point. Chen watched her work. 2 stars. Sarah shrugged. The whales were nice. That is 1 star. The minerals glowed. That is another star. The ruins were just rocks. The star tried to kill us every day. The gravity made me sick. That is a lot of bad. 2 stars feels fair. You are going to make the council very angry. I am going to make the council very confused. There is a difference. They left. The Odyssey turned its back on the red star and flew toward Earth. Behind them, the small metal plate sat on the asteroid. A new warning for a new age. No more fear. Just honesty. Just boredom. Just humans. The Galactic Council received the news. They read the message. They read it again. They did not know whether to laugh or cry or scream. Torek of the Vaughn stood at the front of the council chamber. His face was red. His hands were shaking. 2 stars, he said. They rated the Kiros system 2 stars. Like a restaurant. Like a hotel. Like a bad vacation. The other ambassadors murmured. Some were offended. Some were amused. Most were just tired. The humans had done it again. They had taken something sacred, something feared, something that had shaped galactic law for 10,000 years, and they had turned it into a joke. The Keth ambassador, Rel, spoke quietly. They are not joking. That is the scary part. They really mean it. The Kiros system was the most terrifying place in the galaxy. To us. To every species here. But to the humans. It was just a place. Dangerous. Interesting for a while. Then boring. They are not trying to offend us. They are telling us the truth. What truth? Torek asked. That nothing is untouchable, Rel said. Nothing is too dangerous. Nothing is too sacred. The humans do not see walls. They see doors. They do not see warnings. They see suggestions. They do not see fear. They see puzzles. And when they solve the puzzle, they get bored and move on. That is not cruelty. That is just human. The council was silent. No one knew what to say. The humans had broken the oldest law in the galaxy. And they had done it with a smile and a 2-star rating. It was impossible to be angry at someone who was not trying to be mean. They were just honest. Brutally, simply, honestly honest. On Earth, Sarah gave a press conference. Reporters asked her about the Kiros system. She answered with a yawn. Was it scary? A reporter asked. At first, Sarah said. Then it was just work. Then it was boring. Will humans go back? Probably not. There is nothing there. The whales are nice, but you can only listen to the same song so many times. What is next? Sarah smiled. It was a dangerous smile. A curious smile. A smile that made the reporter nervous. I have been reading about the Void Rift, Sarah said. The council says it is impossible to cross. No ship has ever tried. The warnings are very old. Very scary. Very carved in stone. You want to try? Sarah shrugged. Someone has to. Might as well be us. What is the worst that could happen? The reporter did not answer. The answer was obvious. Death. Destruction. Disaster. But the humans did not seem to care. Or maybe they cared. They just cared more about the question than the answer. The news spread across the galaxy. The humans had left the Kiros system. They had put up a new warning. They had rated it 2 stars. And now they were talking about the Void Rift. Another forbidden place. Another impossible challenge. Another wall they were about to turn into a door. The Galactic Council held another emergency meeting. Torek stood at the front. He looked older than before. Tired. Beaten. "We cannot stop them," he said. "We cannot scare them. We cannot reason with them. They do not care about our laws. They do not care about our warnings. They only care about their questions. And they will keep asking until they get answers." Rel nodded. "Then we have two choices. We can keep being afraid. Or we can learn from them." Learn what? Learn that nothing is untouchable. Learn that fear is not the same as wisdom. Learn that sometimes, the bravest thing you can do is ask a stupid question and go look for yourself. The council voted. It was close. But in the end, they decided not to fight the humans. Not because they could not. Because it would not matter. The humans would go anyway. They would ask anyway. They would try anyway. That was what they did. That was who they were. The new warning on the Kiros system became famous. Ships from across the galaxy went to see it. They read the words. Some laughed. Some cried. Some took pictures. The 2-star rating became a symbol. A symbol of the moment the galaxy realized that fear was just a feeling. And feelings, the humans had proved, could be ignored. The humans moved on to the next impossible thing. And the next. And the next. They crossed the void rift. They landed on the sunless planet. They talked to the silent species. They did everything the galaxy said could not be done. Not because they were strong. Because they were curious. And because they got bored easily. And the galaxy learned a new lesson. The most dangerous thing in the universe is not a weapon. Not a monster. Not a black hole. It is a bored human with a question and no one to tell them no. Because humans do not see walls. They see doors. And they will keep opening doors until there are no doors left. That is not bravery. That is not stupidity. That is just human. And the galaxy would never be the same.